The Tale of Chiku the Arrogant Chimpanzee. In the time before time, when the forest was young and the creatures were still finding their way, there lived a chimpanzee named Chiku. Chiku was no ordinary chimpanzee, he was known far and wide for his arrogance. His fur was the shiniest, his lips the highest, and his chattering the loudest. To hear Chiku tell it, he was the wisest and most important animal in the entire forest. The forest was a verdant paradise, a realm where every leaf whispered secrets and every shadow held ancient tales. From the bustling beavers by the riverbank to the wise old owls perched high in the great oak, each creature had its role. Yet, none seemed as eager to remind everyone of their greatness as Chiku. Each morning, Chiku would climb to the highest branch of the tallest tree and shout to the world, "Hear me, forest dwellers. No one is as brilliant as I am. I am the king of the canopy and the sage of the savannah." The other animals tried to ignore him, but Chiku's boasting was like a constant drumbeat. He would challenge the agile monkeys to races and boast of his superior speed. He would ridicule the hardworking ants for their tiny achievements and claim he could solve any problem better than anyone else. One day, a great commotion stirred among the animals. An enormous storm was approaching, one that the old forest had not seen in many years. The river that wound through the forest was already beginning to swell, and dark clouds loomed ominously in the sky. The animals gathered in the clearing, their eyes wide with worry. Chiku, observing the chaos, scoffed. "Why are you all so worried? It's just a bit of rain. I could handle this storm with my eyes closed," he boasted. The animals, both frightened and annoyed, watched as Chiku dismissed their concerns. The wise tortoise, Tono, approached Chiku with his usual slow and deliberate pace. "Chiku, the storm is not to be taken lightly. We must prepare. This is a time for unity and cooperation, not arrogance." Chiku, with a haughty glance, replied, "I am the greatest of all. I do not need to prepare. I will simply swing to higher branches and laugh at this little storm." The other animals, desperate to protect their homes and families, began to organize themselves. The beavers started reinforcing their dams, the birds flew off to gather news of the storm's path, and the elephants began moving fallen trees and debris away from their homes. Chiku watched from his high perch, feeling both disdain and amusement. As the storm descended upon the forest, it proved to be fiercer than anyone had anticipated. The rain came in torrents, the wind howled like a pack of wild beasts, and the river overflowed its banks. The forest was thrown into chaos. The animals who had prepared fared better, but many were still in peril. Chiku, perched on his branch, found himself caught in the storm's fury. The wind shook the tree violently, and Chiku struggled to hold on. His once mighty leaps and swings were no match for the tempest. He tried to move to a higher branch, but the wind was too strong. He clung desperately to the tree, his earlier arrogance now replaced by fear. Down below, the animals who had worked together were faring much better. The beaver dams held firm, and the birds had warned many creatures to seek shelter. The elephants used their strength to help those who were stranded and in need. When the storm finally abated and the sun broke through the clouds, the forest was a mess. Trees were uprooted, branches were scattered, and the river had carved new paths through the land. Chiku, exhausted and shaken, descended from his branch to find the other animals. As he walked through the forest, Chiku saw the results of the collective effort. The beaver's dams had prevented the worst of the flooding, the bird warnings had saved many lives, and the elephant's efforts had helped clear the debris. The forest had survived not because of one boastful chimpanzee but because of the strength and unity of all its creatures. Feeling a deep sense of shame, Chiku approached Tono, who was quietly surveying the damage. "Tono," Chiku began, his voice humble, "I see now that my arrogance blinded me. I should have listened to your wisdom and joined in the preparations. How can I make amends?" Tono, with his usual calm demeanor, replied, "Chiku, the forest is forgiving. You have learned a valuable lesson, and now you have the chance to make a difference. True greatness is not in boasting but in working together and helping others." From that day forward, Chiku was a changed chimpanzee. He no longer sought to outshine everyone but instead worked alongside the other animals. He helped rebuild homes, offered his strength to the beavers, and used his agility to clear paths for the smaller creatures. Though he still enjoyed his playful swings and clever tricks, he did so with a spirit of cooperation rather than arrogance. The forest flourished under this new sense of unity. The animals no longer dreaded Chiku's boasting but welcomed his help. The tale of Chiku's arrogance and redemption became a cherished story passed down through generations. It was told not just as a lesson in humility but as a reminder of the power of working together in the face of adversity. And so, in the heart of the ancient forest, where the leaves still whispered secrets and the shadows held ancient tales, the story of Chiku, the once arrogant chimpanzee,